Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you another video. So welcome back to another episode of Unranked Diamond, the series that I take a Smurf account, fresh account, never played ranked before, and show you the adventure to Diamond. Now we return back to the series, and once again we have a corrupted game, so I have to do it in this format. So yeah, I'm pretty annoyed right now. I recorded the actual commentary roughly 30 minutes ago, and then it decided to crash while I was in game. One time, and that made the audio and the footage. It actually kept the footage this time. It didn't go corrupt, but it made everything go out of sync. Literally every other second it keeps desyncing itself. So I tried to edit it, and then I edit it to make it synced again. 3 seconds later it becomes desynced. I'm like, okay, that would take me probably roughly 6 hours, maybe even longer, to edit that video. And it, you know, when I do daily content, it's not worth putting that amount of time into one video. Especially that I don't have a lot of free time, and that's the annoying thing. I recorded this commentary and now I've got to record it again technically, but in this perspective. So yeah, I do not intend to do it this format in Unranked to Diamond. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the Sejuani episode, the replay analysis, Diamond replay. But yeah, if something crashes, something goes wrong, this is the only way I can do it. And as for the integrity of the series, I want to upload every single game. So, a couple things I've changed for the Unranked to Diamond series in terms of the replay analysis type thing is I've turned Fog of War on just for my team. So, whatever we can see on the mini-map, etc. is only what I can see in the actual game or what my team can see. I am playing Corki this game, didn't even mention that yet. So, I'm playing Corki mid lane versus Galio. Galio was first picked on the enemy team. But yeah, we're going to just do it this style for today. Again, I apologise. Blitzcrank just got a hook off. Unfortunately, that little hook misses. Trading's going off. But yeah, it bums me out when this stuff happens. I think, you know, it's not OBS that's the problem, it seems. It's Windows. I'm going to look into the problem after I record this video. I'm going to keep with XSplit because I'm really happy with the software. But yeah, really annoying that it causes corruptions. It's just Windows crashing and then everything goes to pot. Anyway, in today's game, we have a Riven, a Vladimir. We've got a Corki versus a Galio. We have a Lucian Thresh versus a Blitzcrank and Mr. Fortune. There's a little fight going off in bot lane. They are very much focusing the Thresh. Lucian's going to go for the Misfortune. He gets first blood. Blitzcrank flashes for the Lucian, but he flashed and used everything to get the Thresh, which leads a double kill for Lucian. Mid lane, pretty standard. I'm just trying to push Galio into tower as much as possible because Galio is not known to be a great last-hitting champion under tower. You just saw he missed the cannon there. Galio, just to mention as well, a lot of people say, oh, Galio, trash champion. Yes, he's not an amazing champion. He's definitely not even in the top probably 20 mid laners. But the thing is, especially with low rating, anything can win. Well, technically anything can win in solo queue. If you're just very good with that type of champion, very good with that specific champion, you can carry. You know, people have got Challenger with playing Yorick, who is arguably the worst champion in the game right now. So just play whatever you're comfortable with and you'll probably go up. They do look for a little gank onto the Riven, but don't get anything for it apart from pressure. I will say, it does surprise me how popular Riven is at the lower ranks. Not meaning to offend, obviously you guys know this series is an educational series, not making fun or etc. But Riven is a very, very mechanical champion. In order to play her well, in order to do her skills in the right combos, you need to be very good mechanically. And if you're low rated, you're probably not the best mechanically. Some people say, oh, there can be mechanically good players in low rating. Just by mechanical skill, you can probably get Diamond 5. So if you are a good mechanical player, you wouldn't be in this rating. Anyway, going for a bit more damage onto the Galio. Get that Thunderlord's proc. I missed the cannon for myself, focusing on the damage, which is completely fine. Sometimes it's worth to take trades, and sometimes it's worth to actually go for farm. In that situation, I did decide to go for the trade. He does end up getting the cannon for himself, but he is extremely low right now. So I am potentially either going to just look for more pressure, or just look for the kill. Another gank going in top lane, second unsuccessful gank for the Graves, but he does end up going for the ward. But it's successful, again, is situational. You know, one, he didn't get a kill, he hasn't got pretty much any summoners from the Riven. Well, she has actually used Flash against the Vlad now, but pressure can also come, like I mentioned in the Sejuani video, if you watched that replay analysis video. Pressure is something that people underestimate as a jungler. If you make the enemy team aware of you and scared of that the jungler could come at any time, you're doing good things as a jungler. Anyway, Skarner looking for a gank. Again, weird champions on the enemy team. Not very popular champions with the Galio, with the Skarner. And, you know, that might make a difference in this game. You'll have to see a little bit later. Tune in later in the episode to find out. But yeah, so far, just a standard game, really. Farming. Vladimir is actually pretty behind the Riven, even though he's had 2 ganks. So that is not a great sign. Vladimir does have the range advantage, but you can tell this Vladimir is playing kind of scared of this matchup because he started the cloth armor. Personally, I probably would start the Doran Shield. It makes me extremely tanky with the health. It gives you extra AP from your passive, I believe, and it gives you that regen that I don't think you need from all the potions. Bot lane, again, continue to farm. Our Lucian is ahead now by 6 CS, so a wave of CS and 2 kills. Thresh looking for an engage, but Skarner is waiting in the shadows. He is delaying his actual gank by a lot. I don't know if he was AFK or something then. He literally just did not move. While this is going on mid lane, we are looking for just a little bit of pressure onto the Galio. Trying to get the kill. Graves flashes after the Galio, and unfortunately, like, just a free death. I would have got the kill there myself if the rocket hit, but he ended up getting killed by Graves. Kind of worth it, kind of not. You know, I don't want a Galio to get fed. Like, as I said, Galio's not a great champion, but he still does a lot of damage. Vladimir actually ends up getting a solo kill on the Riven, which hopefully will give this Vladimir a lot more confidence in this matchup. He has advantage if he uses his passive regenning and leeching the life, etc. He can win the matchup fairly easily. And then me as Corki pushing the wave in even more. Now I'm even more ahead in CS with that Galio death. Obviously, yes, it does make Galio probably relatively even on like gold. Yep, so I've got nearly 2100. He nearly has 2000. Obviously, he gains 300 gold for that kill, which makes him nearly even. But XP wise, I will be ahead. Bot lane, it seems to be in a pretty good position here, but you have to be careful from a Blitzcrank point of view. Whenever a Blitzcrank is near his tower territory, you have to be very careful of hooks, because you can just get hooked into the tower. You can just end up just straight up dying, even though you're winning the lane. So they have to be careful of that. I'm not focusing on myself right now because I'm just going back to buy. Thresh is in a not compromised position. He gets a nice hook off, but Blitzcrank hooks him onto the tower, which then it's a worth trade for our team. We get a kill on our AD carry, and then you know, our support goes down to get a kill for the enemy support. So it's not that bad. Definitely worth it. Skarner right now, I just want to pause the game just to kind of just mention. So we just saw Galio in mid lane. Riven, we can see her in top lane here. Why is this guy invading? You know, as a jungler, pretty much the only times you want to invade is when you know when your team can come back you up. Again, he has no vision of me in mid lane. He doesn't know where Corki is. So for all he knows, I could be here any second. I don't get why he's going for the invade. So yeah, I go for the damage, straight away flashes. He didn't need to do that. He did not need to be there. Anyway, return to the mid lane. Continue to farm a little bit more. Managed to get that last hit there. And now I've got my Sheen. So Corki is a Sheen champion. One thing to mention also, soon as I see Galio top lane, use all my spells to push the lane. Yes, it makes me burn through mana, which is a common pattern of today's game. But it's pressure. It's trying to get this tower a little bit low. Now, unfortunately, Graves does end up taking the blue buff. I remember asking him, hey, can I get blue? He did say I can get the next one, but whatever. It's up to the jungler who gets the buff in the end of the day. As I've said to you guys before, you need to ask the question, as if you're a jungler, who's it better on? Who is it going to be suited to more? I would argue just be biased because it's me. I would say it's better on the Corki than it is the Graves. One, because I'm mid lane, I burn through more mana. But two, just the champions in general. Graves is a bit more auto-attack focused than a Corki is. You know, both of them are spell-based, but Graves does do a little bit more. Anyway, nice flank by my support and jungler. Makes Misfortune run straight into the Lucian. The Graves did have a rather selfish playstyle throughout this game. You can see he tried to kill steal the Misfortune with an ultimate there. Didn't end up hitting it. Again, he wasn't great at landing his ultimates this game. But anyway, now I have Corki package. The way to think about Corki package is basically a Pantheon ult. That is the best way to think about it. There is a little fight going up in top lane. Vladimir ends up taking down the Riven once again. Then he very slowly realizes, I actually can't kill this guy. I move in with my W package, does a crazy amount of damage, and I pick up the kill for myself. Nice use of the package. Again, Corki package is like Pantheon Ultimate. Go use it around the map. Sure, you can use it on your own lane opponent, but it's very rare to actually get the kill. A lot of spam pinging going on here while the fight is happening in bot lane. Misfortune does end up flashing into them and gets a double kill. Well played by her. Lucian probably should have moved around. I'm not sure if he had E up on cooldown, but yeah, that was a bit sloppy. Probably could have played it a little bit better. But again, you have to take it into account that this is a low-rated game, so you can't expect people to play perfectly. That I know that is a problem of mine, and I'm fully aware that sometimes I expect a little bit too much from my teammates at this rating, and that's my fault. Sometimes I do come across a little bit harsh in these commentaries. Again, I apologize for that. It's just kind of, you know, when you're used to playing at a different rating, it's sometimes hard to adjust. Anyway, Graves is looking for the kill on Misfortune. He does end up going straight onto her, but she just runs past him, doesn't really have any cares in the world. I do look for the kill myself, but hey presto, there's just a random Skarner just waiting in the bush. Hook from Blitzcrank straight into the tower. Graves does go down. That's unfortunate, you know. There's not a lot we could have done there. Hook comes on the Skarner. I'm looking to try and get the kill with the Thresh Ignite going up. Boom, there's the kill with the hook. Now, unfortunately, I go for a very greedy play here. Completely my fault. I go for the flash water gun Q onto the Misfortune. Thresh flashes, lands the hook, and another kill. So very messy plays going on. Overall, I'd say worth it. You know, I got another kill. Our Lucian got another kill. I'd say worth it, but it was very messy. Very greedy from me personally, flashing in to try and get the Misfortune when the Blitzcrank was literally in the way. So free Q into tower for him. What's going on? Riven is continuing to try her best in this matchup. You know, she did have the advantage in the early game when Vladimir was playing a little bit too passive. But now Vladimir has actually worked out, I can actually beat this person. So he's playing a little bit more aggressive. He's gone straight for the revolver to get that sustain in. And he's doing fine. You know, he's ahead in CS by 14, playing quite well. Anyway, with that roam, it does make me relatively even with the Galio in farm. You know, he's a little bit ahead now, but by the time I get this last hits, I'll be ahead. Which is okay. You know, roaming does take away farm from you, but I got a kill for it. If we look into the overall gold, he's got 3,600, I've got 4,200. I'm very much ahead in this matchup in mid lane. And that's, again, another thing that people don't think about. Some people just go straight into looking at the kills, the assists, etc. But you have to actually think about the gold. What have I contributed to gold in the game? And that's how you kind of work out how well you're playing. It's how much damage you do if you're a damage dealer, how much damage taken, how much damage you've absorbed, and how much gold have you personally earned for your team. So that's kind of how well, you know, how you're working out how well you're doing in a game of League. Anyway, a lot of pressure going up the top lane right now. Graves is nearing the tier 2 with the Riven. Maybe they'll look for a dive. Pretty risky at only 12-13 minutes of the game. Riven does go pretty all in on the Vladimir. Once again, Graves misses his ultimate. And again, Graves, very greedy player, goes to the flash when he 100% knew she was dead. Don't know whether he just doesn't know about the Hemo Plague or he just wants all the kills. I'm not sure. But nonetheless, good kill from Vladimir. They have to be very careful or overextended. You can see me a little bit spam pinging saying missing, but at this point, I know Galio's going top lane. It's 100%, you know, there he is. While this is going on, I'm going to push the mid tower, go for that. Galio flashes, actually misses his ultimate, but I think Vladimir might have moved back into it because he did take damage from it. Vladimir will go down eventually to the Skarner. Graves hopefully will get out. And again, while this is going on, I do end up getting the tier 1 mid turret, which again is worth it for me. Galio, I don't think got anything for that roam. I don't believe. Maybe an assist. But yeah, worth it for me. Last hitting even more with getting some gold. So again, I'm at 5,200 gold. He's at 4,300 gold. Again, extended that gold lead in mid lane. At the moment, Lucian has the most gold, having 6 kills with having 6,400 gold, more or less. So he's very much ahead of everybody in the game. Misfortune with second at 5,500, so she's a little bit ahead of me, having, you know, more assists, more kills, a little bit more farm too. Anyway, Thresh looking for another hook under the tower, more or less baits out the Blitzcrank. Now, this is the point that I am actually wanting to pause. When Blitzcrank was here and Lucian was ulting him, Lucian actually probably should have stopped his ultimate with the just pressing R again, auto-attacked him twice, and that actually might have got the kill if one of them crit. You have to remember, crits do a lot of damage. Misfortune looking for quite a greedy play going on here. She's, you know, relatively alone, gets hooked by the Thresh, and this should be a free kill for our Lucian. E out of the way, out the ultimate, and hey presto. Nice escape by him, potentially. Riven does flash for it and does end up getting the kill. Thresh is in a compromised position, so he probably will go down as well. He's probably going to try and get to the suicide, but Blitzcrank just throws his ultimate off, and yeah, nothing he really can do about that. Galio does have blue buff at this point, and this is the second time now that Graves has taken the blue, unfortunately for me. Again, he did play a little bit selfish this game, looking for kill steals and all that type of thing. I think, actually, thinking of it, he did take all the red buffs, which did make the Lucian a little bit ragey later in the game. So yeah, you know, again, sometimes you don't have to be the hero. If people on your team are doing better than you, just suck it up and be like, okay, I'll help them win the game for me, and I can just be the Robin to their Batman. Anyway, Graves is looking for a kill onto the Galio. Don't think we're going to get anything at this point. Vladimir is in a 2v1 situation right now. Potentially, if he W'd at the right time and does some more damage, they could have backed off and he might have been okay. But he does flash out, so I guess that's okay too. So yeah, the annoying thing with this mid lane matchup is Galio does surprising damage with landing his abilities. I will admit, I did not play amazing this game. I did get hit by way too many QE combos than I should have. Vladimir does rotate into the mid lane now, and now we're looking for the Galio kill while there's stuff going on in the bot lane. And here's a little fight that's about to happen. So Skarner comes back into Vladimir. Vladimir ult goes off. Galio ult comes off, but while this is happening, I still auto-attack him. He ignites the Vladimir, and then Vladimir kills the Skarner. So a lot of split damage going off, both, you know, me attacking the Galio, Vladimir attacking the Skarner, and then both the enemies were kind of splitting their damage too. But a nice double kill, honestly, one for me, one for Vlad, because that's just a nice pressure all around. And also now we know Galio has used his Ignite. Anyway, bot lane go for the bot lane turret. They actually do go very greedy for it, and they die to the misfortune. Riven is looking for a flank. The Thresh is most likely going to go down any second. And boom, he goes down. We do get the dragon at this point, which is good for us, and maybe we're looking for a bit of pressure on the Riven and the Misfortune, but I do think we just decide to back off. So overall, the game's going okay. Gold lead, we have over 3,000 gold lead at this point. We've got 3 towers, they have 0. We've got 1 dragon, they've got none. So it's going okay. You know, it's not a bad situation to be in at all. Corki package is up, so let's just follow me while we go for it. And if we go into the item build once again, Triforce into Hex Drinker. I like the Hex Drinker because of how much damage, surprising damage, the Galio actually does to me. So yeah, it just makes me a little bit more tanky. Survivability, it helps quite a bit. Anyway, I'm looking for a kill here. So I'm thinking they probably won't have this warded. The enemy bot lane hasn't really even attacked our turret, so I doubt they have this warded. So the Corki package, I'm going to look for it any second, straight onto the MF, cut her off behind so she's forced to go in it. Then I get the kill on Misfortune. Now me and Lucian are going to continue going for the Blitzcrank. A lot of damage coming out both me and Lucian right now, and there's a double kill for me. So that's how you use Corki package effectively. A lot of the time when I see Corkis play, I see them using it in their own lane. You can go roam, go get top lane, go get bot lane, and get your other lanes fed. That's the way that I think it's best played as Corki. It works, you know. Go bot lane is, I would honestly say, the best lane to go in. It's like a Pantheon ult. You want to go to a lane that you have the best chance in getting a kill. There's 2 people guaranteed in bot lane. Galio does walk into the Graves. I don't think we're going to end up getting the kill because he does just walk away with his shield up, so he doesn't take a lot of damage. Lucian is potentially looking for some type of flank, which is a bit weird. At, you know, only 18 minutes, we're all now grouping mid lane. I guess we do have some type of big advantage. And now we're going to go for the tier 2 in mid lane. Both of the hook champions hook each other. I would say to our advantage, because we end up getting the Blitzcrank and our Thresh does end up surviving. The Riven had very questionable engages this game. Like, she just randomly decided to try and go in when it wasn't a good idea. Galio gets a very good ult off, and this is where the problem of our team comp lies. We're very squishy. You know, if they do get a Galio ult on top of us, if Riven does do a good combo, we are a little bit in trouble. But while this is going on, Vladimir's in top lane still, getting tier 2 already at this point in the game and being extremely farmed. Like, yeah, sure, his last hitting isn't great for basically having a free lane, but he's extremely strong as a Vladimir in team fights, in skirmishes, so I think we're pretty good with this Vladimir. So yeah, that's pretty good. But one thing to note about Galio, which I personally don't really like, is the best champion I believe to compare Galio to is Annie. Both of them have ultimates that rely heavily on flash. The difference between them, I believe Galio, to get a good ultimate off, pretty much 90% of the time you have to use flash to use ultimate. I'd say with Annie, about probably 60% of the time you have to use flash, where they do very similar things, and arguably Annie does more damage. So if you are a Galio player, I'd just play Annie. Similar playstyle, similar ult technique, but more useful, I'd say. Vladimir is looking for a 2v1 situation going off here. Focus the Riven, just kill one of them straight away. Don't split your damage. If you kill one of them and then go back on the other one, you're looking pretty strong. He does end up getting the Riven. Now we know Galio is over here. Compromised by our bot lane. Good hook by Thresh, and Lucian picks up the kill. So this game is going pretty well. The enemy are kind of just falling a little bit. You know, they're tripping up on themselves more than anything else. Going for engages, positioning quite badly. When they could play a little bit safer, they could play a little bit smarter too. But again, you've got to take in consideration this is a silver 3, silver, like a mid-silver gold game. Now, one thing I'm actually going to do right now, which is different to last time, and I just kind of forgot to do it. I'm going to pause the game, and right now I'm going to bring up the loading screen. So as you can see, this is the rating of the game. I should have done this at the beginning of the game. Apologies that I didn't. We're doing these replay analysis episodes occasionally with crashing windows and stuff. I'll do this more at the beginning, but there you go. That was the loading screen. So you can pause that. If you missed it, go back in the video, pause it yourself, look through it. But I just thought I'd include that. Anyway, I'm bot lane right now. Reason for it, I think my teammates are fine. You know, they should be fine. We've got a very strong Vladimir. They've got a very weak Riven. So we should be fine even if they go for an uneven engage right now. Graves is coming over to the team fight from the top side. Lucian will eventually look to come in from the right. We pick up the Skarner. There's a hook straight onto the Blitzcrank. Now this Misfortune ult is absolutely shrekking people right now. Lucian does a wild turtle, goes straight in the base, and looking for more potential kills. Should be completely fine. He's pretty strong. The Riven's really weak. So we win a team fight, uneven team fight. That was a 5v4 for my teammates. Meanwhile, I'm in bot lane, just farming, just chilling. Graves will most likely go down to the Galio. There's not a lot he can do. The Ignite goes off, which is probably unneeded. He does pick it up eventually. Lucian looking for a base. Does even try to go for the kill on the Blitzcrank, which I doubt he'll get. Going back down to Corki cam. Just getting that tier 2, nothing else going on. Lucian, he's in a bit of a tricky spot. You know, does he base? Does he run up here? He could run into a Galio. Or did Galio base? It's awkward. He just decides to go for the execute. I'd honestly say that's the smartest thing to do. It does give XP to the Blitzcrank. But as you can see, Galio just came from here. So if Lucian ran this way, he would have got caught by a Galio and probably just died for it. Anyway. I've got now the tier 2, a lot more farm also, so I'm going to pink ward the bush I'm currently in and see if I can bait, you know, a kill or two. If Misfortune runs into me, I'm fairly confident that I could just burst and kill her, but I don't think it was to be. Dragon is spawning in 23 seconds. He just got this territory here. He's also looking to get this territory here, sorry. I thought he might already have it. I'm going to flank over to the tri-bush any second. Thresh, I can see, is also coming. So I think, hey, maybe we can actually do something here. Just start to damage him. Unfortunately, the Thresh hook misses. And Vladimir goes for a very ballsy play with flashing straight into him and ends up running straight into an enemy team. Unfortunately, Vladimir didn't W. I know, you know, he got Blitzcrank silenced, but I don't think he got silenced before he could have done it. So that's a bit unfortunate. Thresh does look for a hook, unfortunately misses. And this is where, again, the game starts to get a little bit messy. Galio is looking for an ultimate or something like this. But again, Galio is the type of champion that has to run into somebody to do any damage. So for that, he takes a lot of damage too. Good hook by Thresh. He's going to pick up the kill with his Ignite or Auto Attack. 2 people top lane looking for the Riven. And while this is going on, we're looking for more pressure into the enemy jungle, which is actually a mistake. Skarner flashes straight onto my face, ults me. I do manage to get away with the lantern. And at this point, I'm like got a smile on my face. But Misfortune does decide to go for a combo ultimate. She nearly goes down as she would have if she didn't have heal up, but she uses both summoners to take us out. But fortunate for us, Blitzcrank gets both kills. That's completely fine with me. Having a support getting both kills when the enemy AD carry used both summoner spells is worth it in my book. We know that they're going to be doing Dragon at this point. That's fairly obvious. So the easy little 2 kills here coming out by my team, hopefully anyway, will be 2 kills. Lucian does continue to chase. Probably will get them. He does have better movement speed on the most part. 1 kill, 2 kill. Skarner probably shouldn't have stopped. I do think he was dead anyway, but we do get Dragon and then 2 revenge kills over here at the Dragon Pit. Misfortune, she probably just decided to back off because she was pretty low health. A trade going off again. The Graves didn't play great this game. He does very often, he throws his Q out, getting flash combo. He throws his Q out and always hits walls. He's done that quite a lot this game. Galio, again, this is why I don't think he's a great champion. Very lackluster damage. into the late game. His early game damage isn't terrible, but his late game damage just completely falls off. I've got Corki package, and you can, who's you gonna guess who's in my sights right now? My W comes down, puts the burn on her face, and straight away easy kill for me. Don't even take any damage for it, pretty much. Blitzcrank hook misses, but there we go. So far so good. Gonna try and move into the enemy base. It's only 24-25 minutes. Good hook from Thresh. Potentially looking for these 2 kills. Gonna go pretty aggressive, knowing that Thresh is tanking the turret. 1 kill for me. Riven does end up coming over. And we should be okay. That 1 auto attack, by the way, just did like 500-600 damage, so that was quite a lot. Moving up for the inhibitor, and then eventually, moving to the tower, then eventually the inhibitor. Meanwhile, Graves is just top lane. But yeah, this Graves is, again, it's one of them people that just gets under your skin a little bit in solo queue. He didn't say anything bad in chat or anything, just playstyle wise, just a little bit annoying to play with, not grouping. And, sure, we didn't need him to group at this point, but it would have been good just for extra security. Taking all the buffs, even red buff when Lucian is 14 kills. It's just stuff like that. Heading over to blue buff and he's like, no, go get our own one, even though I'm nearly and he has mana. Just little things like that is a little bit annoying, so it happens. So I've got to be careful. Now, unfortunately for me, my W didn't get me over the wall, so I actually end up flashing because I was like, whoa, that was close. Potentially even could look for a little fight in the mid lane any second. Blitzcrank looking for a hook lane or a hook onto him. Lucian not coming out, doing a lot of damage. Blitzcrank is now slowed from his W, but then Galio throws a shield on him. Now at this point in time, 2 people top lane, they are risking it for a chocolate biscuit, which I don't think is worth. Skarner does a flank and gets a nice ultimate on them, but they have to be very, very careful. While this is going on, 3 people in mid lane, but I have no idea why we're mid lane right now. Graves does go down. But yeah, we shouldn't be mid lane. There's no point to be mid lane. We've already gotten the inhibitor, so that's a mistake on our part, but it's also a mistake for our 2 players here being overextended as only 2 people. If you want people to be pushing top lane, wait a little bit back, wait for your team to get there, and then continue to push. I just think they were a little bit... Again, the word it escapes me at the moment, but again, low-rated players tend not to be very patient. They were just being not very patient at all there, so that's pretty much what happened. Finally, I get a blue buff in this game. I think I have had a couple in the past, but mainly from killing the Galio. Gonna just do a little bit more farming, and then I think eventually go back and buy. I do have over 2,000 gold just in my purse right now. Lucian has over like 3,600 as well, so we should probably all go back, which we are. Use the gold, buy some items, and then look to continue fighting. So my build right now is Corki. I went for the Tri-Force. I went for the Hex Drinker. After the Hex Drinker, I went Rapid Fire Cannon, and now I finished more Malmortius just to make me a little bit more tanky. Now, unfortunately, okay, he did get it. I thought he was going to miss it, but he did end up getting it, which is good. And here we go. So Lucian, 14 kills. Graves, negative KDA. He takes the red buff. Like, again, just a selfish type of player. That's just annoying to deal with. It happens. Looking for a bit of damage in Galio. That 1 auto attack did a little bit, more than I thought, actually. I just W behind the Thresh thinking, help me. And we get a nice hook off the Blitzcrank. He does end up flashing straight away. Lucian not coming down. Not really doing anything at this point of the game. Lucian ult, it does some damage, but only if you kind of hit the squishy targets. Vladimir, interesting note. I don't know if he actually did end up going back, but he backed very recently, and now he's backing again. Now, here's a big mistake I want to make. So, I want to just point out. 2 people going to Baron. Baron is pretty much free at this point of the game. We've got super minions going into the enemy base. They're going to just be distracted. We've got 3 AD carries, and as a collective team, I think it was me, Graves, and Vladimir, and Thresh, potentially, all agreed that we're going to go do Baron. Lucian, don't know why, yes, he's very fed this game, played quite well, he decides to go for the enemy red buff. Look what's about to happen. So for doing this red buff, Flash, ultimate, completely caught out when he didn't even need to be there. Now you might think at this point of the game, he might have escaped. Riven flashes, and dead, and next one is going to probably die. Don't know why they were there. Like, no point to be there. Be with your team. Anyway, we're going to continue trying to go for the fight here. Potentially. Tried to get something now, unfortunately, again, mistake by me. I get slowed by Skarner. Now, I do not know how that hook landed. I wish, again, the video I was able, like the commentary, I wish I could have done that. But anyway, I want to just quickly go back to that moment. I don't know when it was. Potentially probably shouldn't have actually done that because it makes everything messy. Let's find the point again. So where is it? Mid lane. Oh wait, no. Wait. Okay, to me, Huzzy, edit. Okay, I had to skip because I had to find the point again. But here we go. So I have no idea how this is going to hit. So I'm going to try and pause it. Okay, this hook hits me. How? So I was a little bit confused while I was in game. So, that was the weirdest hook landing. I tried to W straight away. Unfortunately, didn't do it. But yeah, that was so bizarre. I was like, are you kidding me? But anyway, they're going to continue going with the fight. Skarner are a little bit too greedy. That was kind of a pattern of this game. That was an actually okay hook for Blitzcrank to land because it got them away from the misfortune. Vladimir doesn't use any spells at this point. Does a little bit of damage, but they managed to survive. So they actually ace us by a pure mistake, and I'm going to call it out by Lucian. That was his fault. At this point in the game as well, he gets a little bit ragey, thinking, oh, team, why are you not with me? When as a collective team, we actually said, let's go do Baron, when he was the one that just solo went here. It was his mistake. Sometimes you've got to own up to your own mistakes. It happens. You know, I try to own up to my mistakes as much as possible. Sometimes in the live commentaries, it's hard to do because in the end of the day, I'm doing a live commentary. But in these type of reflection, replay analysis, and when I edit the video myself and I watch the video back, I'm always critical about myself. I always know what I've done wrong. Anyway. Everybody just waiting for the respawns. I'm going to just pick up the package. Level 15 at the moment. Would love to be level 16 at this point in the game. Probably will get there pretty soon. But yeah, been a bit awkward game for me. You know, I haven't got a lot of farm. Haven't been focusing on it that much. Again, we're kind of thinking, you know, we could do Baron potentially. Blitzcrank's coming over to ward the Baron itself. Because, yeah, they know we're a 3-man AD carry team. We will kill Baron stupidly fast. Lucian's soloing the dragon at this point. A little bit risky. I don't think, you know, Skarner will come, you know, steal it. But there's a chance. And I'm looking potentially to try and use my package on something. You know, it's always a waste when you don't end up using it. It does a lot of damage. It's like the equivalent of like a rumble ult. So you want to use it whenever you get it. But unfortunately, I don't think I actually find a situation to use it. Lucian just backed, bought some more items, is now running down mid lane to join us once again. Still a package at this point, so if a team fight breaks out, I'm perfectly happy with that. You know, it does a lot of damage. Blitzcrank looking for the Vladimir, potentially a fight's about to break off. My package has now run out, unfortunately. Blitzcrank misses his hook, our Thresh lands his. Fight going off, Misfortuno goes straight down the middle, beginning of the fight. Vladimir most likely will go down. He does get a bit of damage before he does go down. Galio picks up the Thresh, and now this is where the team fight does continue. The 3 AD carries of our team, you know, remain trying to get the Skarner. Unfortunately, we do not get him. I think even Lucian uses heal to try and get a speed up, but he does manage to survive. I get hooked once again. Pattern of the game, my mistake. I just, getting used to Corki. I haven't played in him a while. It's no real excuse. It's just me playing bad, but anyway. To survive, not bad. You know, I think it was a relatively even team fight. If anything, the enemy got a bit of an advantage. So the gold lead right now, just to point out, we have roughly a 5,000 gold lead. We have 7 towers. They don't have a single tower yet. We've got 3 dragons. They've got none. We are in a very commanding way of this game. You know, for us to lose this game at this point would pretty much be impossible. But I guess the impossible can happen occasionally. Continuing to push the mid wave right now. You know, the inhibitor is back up. So we probably want to get this soon before we think about Baron. You know, it's always good to have supers going into the enemy base. That's why when Lucy went over to red, it was such a mistake. Because it was the perfect time to do Baron. Minions were literally flocking into their base, creating a distraction. Anyway, next item I bought is the QSS. So they do have a relatively high team for like CC, Skarner ult, Galio ult. So the QSS is pretty useful in this game. I'm going to mosey my way on over to the Baron. Because again, we do it really quick. Sure, we could go for the inhib, which I think is a smarter thing to do. But we still will do this stupidly quick. Blitzcrank did not land many hooks this game, unfortunately for him. He does have 8 kills, though. Looking for a potential pick onto the Galio Misfortune. Misfortune does find herself to be mispositioned. Does use heal, does use flash to get out, but now that leaves a Galio completely mispositioned. And now he does go down. Continuing maybe to get some pressure, but I do think we decide just to turn and do the Baron. Again, we do it extremely quickly. And, you know, doing a Baron, you need pressure. We kill the Galio. That's enough pressure. We got MF to base. That's enough pressure to do the Baron pretty much for free. Blitzcrank is trying to move his way over, but by the time he gets there, it's already done. So yeah, free Baron for us. Hook, or Flash Hook from Thresh, it makes the Blitzcrank flash as well. It's fine. I'd rather a Blitzcrank not have flash than a Thresh, because Blitzcrank's hook is more instant, where Thresh's hook is more of like a drag hook. So it's much more useful for a Blitzcrank to have his flash than a Thresh, I believe. So I'm perfectly fine with blowing them summoners. Now, we're probably going to rotate over. Now, this is where the game, again, I'm going to pause it, was a little bit saltiness from the Lucian and the Graves. This Graves, again, played very selfish this game, took all the red buffs and all the blues whenever he had whenever he could. Lucian decides to back and just go get the red buff, because he's like, I'm having this red buff, you know, I'm very fed, I want the red buff. So in reality, he probably shouldn't have backed, he probably should have continued pushing, but he just wanted to kind of prove a point that he should have red buff, I suppose. Alright, 2v3. Riven is pretty weak still at this point in the game, so they probably could just turn and kill her, but they decide against it. I'm in the base with the Thresh, looking for the middle inhibitor with the Baron buff. I do force people to come over to kind of try and kill us. Thresh does get hooked, unfortunately. He does go down. Skarner does flash to try and ult me. Again, I don't think Skarner's a very useful champion. Even if he ulted me, I think I could have just QSS'd away. They're going to be careful, though. This is a 4v2 situation. Graves gets ulted, then moves back into the enemy team, hooked by Blitzcrank, and that is very much a dead Graves. Again, probably just didn't need to be there. A lot of deaths in just solo queue in general, in every single rating of the game, is when people just did not need to be there. There's no point. What was the advantage? What was the thought process? There probably wasn't one. Alright, Vladimir does scare me a little bit here. He is looking for a little bit of pressure on the side, while Lucian does just back off a little bit in mid. Again, going a bit crazy here. He does ultimate straight onto the two tanks of the enemy team, the Galio and the Skarner. Questionable. Me and Lucian are thinking, though, we could potentially still win this fight, so we're just going to go mad. You know, this is very much like, I think last night in LCS this happened. Lucian's continuing for that kill. I'm continuing this kill. I use my QSS while in Galio ult just to get out of it and not like just be able to use my spells. And me and Lucian do manage to clean up the fight. Riven does remain, so we're going to be a little bit careful of her. But even, you know, if she came in, I think we would just burst her straight away. But yeah, relatively good. And this is a point that we believe that we can just end the game. 2 AD carries remain. Thresh coming in to tank and be a bit disruptive with super mini or Baron minions. So we're just going to look to end the game right here. So that's pretty much going to be it for today's commentary. Looking for the Riven kill even more so. There's the auto attack from me. Ace, another kill from me. So I apologise once again for the footage becoming corrupt. There's nothing I can do, which is the really sad point. It's, you know, it wasn't OBS. I found that out. It's Windows. So I'm going to have to just dig through and find what the problem is. So again, hopefully this is okay. The sole reason, you know, sometimes I would skip this type of video if it became corrupt like I did last season, but I want this to be like full, you know, a full Unranked Diamond, not missing a single game if possible. And this is the only way I could do it today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed nonetheless. Hopefully you learned a little bit. So throw a like on it if you did like it, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.